Welcome everyone to World Gone Weird. Buckle up because the weirdness dial seems to be stuck on 11 today.
11? Honey, my weird-o-meter just exploded. I'm pretty sure we're in a dimension where cats rule the world and politicians wear tutus. Just waiting for the official memo.
Okay, Sarah, let's try to focus. While I appreciate the imagery, there are some pretty serious things happening that deserve our attention. Like this agreement between the US and China. Is that good news? Or just a temporary band-aid on a gaping wound?
A band-aid, Otto. Definitely a band-aid. Remember all the other agreements we've had? They always fall apart. China's not playing fair. They never do. They say one thing and then do another.
See, that's where I think we need to apply some scientific rigor. Saying they never do is anecdotal. What's the actual historical data? What are the measurable outcomes of past agreements? We need to move beyond gut feelings and look at the facts.
Facts? From politicians? Oh, honey, that's like asking a magician for a real rabbit. It's all smoke and mirrors. But seriously, I'm more worried about this Kirchner thing. Argentina's top court upholding her conviction? Sounds like a reality TV drama, but with actual consequences.
It is concerning. A former president heading to prison, it speaks to deep-seated issues of corruption and political instability. But isn't it also a sign, in a way, that the system can work? That even powerful people can be held accountable?
Accountability? Huh. I'll believe it when I see it. It's probably just a political hit job. They always go after the other side, you know? Classic. And speaking of power grabs, this Trump deploying troops on domestic soil thing? That's downright scary.
Indeed, the historical precedent is unsettling. Deploying troops domestically raises serious questions about the separation of powers, the Insurrection Act. What is the long-term impact on civil liberties? Are there clearly defined metrics to measure the effectiveness of this deployment? Or is it purely performative?
Performative? Please, it's a full-blown reality show. Troops take Los Angeles. Coming this fall to a network near you. And the sad part is, people will watch. They'll eat it up.
But think about the message that sends, Sarah. The militarization of our own communities, that's not the kind of world I want to live in. Aren't there better ways to address these issues? More community-based solutions, less force?
Community-based solutions? With those rioters and looters? Otto, you're living in a fantasy world. Sometimes you need a strong hand to maintain order. People need to know there are consequences for breaking the law.
Consequences, yes, but what is the root cause of the unrest? If it's simply dismissed as criminal behavior, we miss the underlying societal factors. Poverty, inequality, lack of opportunity. These things don't just disappear with the arrival of troops. Do we have sufficient data to understand the motivations of these transnational gangs and criminal networks that Trump keeps mentioning?
Okay, deep breaths, everyone. We're spiraling. So, troops in Los Angeles, political convictions in Argentina, trade wars. This is why I drink, people. This is why I drink. But seriously, let's dive into this Trump troop thing. It is pretty concerning.
I completely agree. The idea of the military being used against American citizens, it feels like a line has been crossed. What's the potential for this escalating? Where does it stop?
It stops when people stop rioting and looting. It's simple. The president's doing his job protecting the country. These liberal governors are too soft. They let these things fester.
That's a rather binary view. The article mentions Homeland Security Secretary Noem requesting troops to arrest protesters, which may skirt the law. Is there evidence of the Insurrection Act being considered in a way that circumvents legal norms? A hidden agenda? I need factual points.
Hidden agenda? In this administration? Never. Okay, sarcasm aside, I see Newsom's point about Trump wanting to be bound by no law. It does feel like he's testing the limits, and I'm not sure how much more testing we can take.
And this isn't just about Los Angeles. Newsom is saying that California is just the first state, that others will be next. That's what's truly alarming. It sets a precedent for, well, who knows what.
Newsom's just grandstanding, trying to make himself look good for 2028. He's exaggerating the threat, just like Trump, actually. They're all politicians playing the game.
Perhaps. Yet, is there a measurable metric that shows the effectiveness of Newsom's approach in comparison to Trump's? This whole thing feels like a feedback loop of escalating rhetoric and action. Is there an analysis of potential solutions that reduce domestic unrest without the use of military force?
Yeah, let's get analytical because all this doom and gloom is giving me a headache. Okay, so what are we actually seeing? There's looting, there's protesting. We should have metrics on both. We need to know if these protests are more than the usual protest or something new. And are the tactics used to control these protests effective? Are they just inflaming things further?
Exactly. Are we addressing the underlying causes of the protests? Are we listening to the people who are protesting? Or are we just trying to silence them with force?
They're not protesting, they're rioting. There's a difference. Protesting is peaceful. What happened in Los Angeles was not peaceful.
The article mentions relatively contained unrest. It also notes accounts of agitators throwing projectiles. What is the ratio of protesters to agitators and projectiles? How does the media representation of these protests affect public perception and ultimately policy decisions?
Media representation? Oh, that's always skewed. It's designed to get clicks. It is designed to rile you up or terrify you. Gotta sell those ads, people.
It's so cynical. But she's right. The media plays a huge role in shaping the narrative. It can amplify fear, it can stoke division, it can make things seem much worse than they actually are.
Or it can downplay the danger, which is what the liberal media always does. They don't want to admit that these cities are out of control. They're protecting their own.
And that, again, is an assumption. To evaluate that claim, one must perform a systematic analysis of media coverage across various outlets, controlling for potential biases and comparing it to independent reports of the events. Lacking this, such statements remain unsubstantiated.
All right, Mr. Science, you analyze all that and get back to us, okay? In the meantime, I'm gonna go back to wondering if this isn't some dystopian movie we are accidentally living out.
I wish it were just a movie, Sarah, but this is real life. And the stakes are incredibly high. It's not just about Los Angeles, it's about the future of our democracy. Or, what is left of it.
Democracy? It's about law and order. It's about protecting our borders. It's about making America great again.
Which brings us back to trade with China. If relations destabilize, so will the economy, and those will translate to local effects. It's all interconnected. Are the metrics used to determine greatness sustainable, equitable, and aligned with long-term human well-being? What metrics are we using to quantify how great we actually are?
Okay, now you are scaring me. Quantifying greatness. That's a whole new level of weird. I will stick to focusing on surviving the day, all right?
It's a valid point, though, Jesus. How do we measure success? Is it just economic growth? Or is it something more? Quality of life, social justice, environmental sustainability?
Those are all nice ideals, Otto, but they don't pay the bills. We need a strong economy to fund all those social programs.
Oh Lord, here we go with the algorithms. Yes, they do that thing you said. They reinforce what you already think and shove it down your throat. You can't escape your personalized bubble.
That's the danger, isn't it? These filter bubbles prevent us from seeing other perspectives, from understanding different viewpoints. How can we have a functioning democracy if we're all living in our own little echo chambers?
It's not the algorithm's fault. People choose what they want to see. If they want to be surrounded by like-minded people, that's their choice. Freedom of association, right?
But is it truly freedom of choice when the algorithm is actively shaping those choices, subtly nudging users towards certain content and away from others? It's less a choice and more a carefully crafted illusion of one. It may be important to measure if people are aware they are in that echo chamber and how it has shifted their thinking.
Right? It's like being offered a menu with only one item on it and being told you're free to choose what to eat. And then they supersize it. Thanks, algorithm.
And the potential for manipulation? It's terrifying. If someone can control what information you see, they can control what you think. And that's how you end up with extremist viewpoints gaining traction, with people becoming radicalized.
Radicalized? That's a bit dramatic, isn't it? People are just expressing their opinions. It's not the algorithm's fault if those opinions are strong.
But how do you account for the amplification effect? An algorithm can amplify fringe opinions, give them a platform they wouldn't otherwise have. Do social media companies bear any responsibility for the content that's shared on their platforms?
Responsibility? Tech companies? Are you kidding me? They're too busy counting their money to worry about the fate of civilization.
Okay, but what's the alternative? Do we start censoring content? Who gets to decide what's true and what's false? It's a slippery slope.
Exactly. You start censoring one thing, and then you censor everything. Free speech, remember? It's a cornerstone of our democracy.
And here we face another epistemic dilemma. How do we reconcile the principle of free speech with the potential for algorithmic manipulation and the spread of misinformation? Can we develop algorithms that prioritize factual accuracy and diverse perspectives without resorting to censorship?
That sounds lovely in theory, but in practice, good luck with that. We can barely agree on what is a fact anymore.
So are we doomed? Are we just going to keep spiraling further into these echo chambers, further into division and polarization?
Not if we stand up for what we believe in. Not if we fight for our values.
But what are our values? And how do we know if they're truly our own or just the product of algorithmic conditioning? Perhaps the key is to develop a stronger sense of self-awareness, to actively seek out diverse perspectives, and to question everything we believe.
Question everything? Sounds exhausting. I am happy to question the price of a large coffee, but everything? I need a nap now.
It's a challenge, no doubt, but it's a challenge we have to face. Because the alternative, a world where algorithms control our thoughts and extremist viewpoints reign supreme, is a world I don't want to live in.
Well, I'm not going to let some algorithm tell me what to think. I'll do my own research, make my own decisions.
And that ultimately is the most important thing we can do, to cultivate critical thinking, to demand transparency, and to resist the forces that seek to divide us. Perhaps it's time to study propaganda with the same intensity and money with which we study AI. I want to know where all the levers are and who is pulling them.
Okay, people, that's our weirdness quota for the day. My brain hurts. I'm going to go watch cat videos now. Maybe they do rule the world. At least cats are honest about their intentions.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Let's keep talking, keep questioning, and keep fighting for a better world, even if it seems impossible.
Yeah, stay informed, stay strong, and don't let the liberals win.
Until next time, keep your minds open and your skepticism high. The truth, as always, is out there somewhere.